Hi there. Today we are diving into the world of security. You ever wondered how to implement an OTP generator with email verification using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? It's all about safeguarding your applications and protecting your users' data. Stay tuned as we unlock the power of robust authentication. Let's have a quick demo right here. Here on the screen, we can see the OTP verification window, which has email address text box with next button. Right now, the next button is disabled because we need to enter the email address. Once user enter the valid email address here, now we can able to see the button is enabled automatically based on the user input. We enter the email address and we can click next. Once we click this, the message will sending to your particular email address and then text says here a one-time password has been sent to this email address. Here the user can cross-check their email address and then below text says enter the 4-digit code we sent you via email to continue. And then below we have a 4 text box and then not your email or did not receive the code and we can try again. Once we click this, it will send back to the previous screen and again we can send the OTP there and then verify button is disabled here. We need to enter the OTP here. Once we enter the text and then button is enabled here. Once we click this, now it is not valid. Now we can able to see the error button shake to that button. So we need to enter the valid OTP. So I will jump to my email box. So if I refresh, now we'll get the email here. So here we have a text and then OTP as 2624. 2624 and if I hit verify now we'll get the congratulation window and then it was mentioned welcome to the homepage and then below thank you your OTP verification has been completed successfully. That's all for the demo. Before beginning this video, I would like to introduce myself as Sharat Chandar K. If you find this tutorial useful, please subscribe to our channel and watch this video to motivate me. Let's level up our tech game together. Here on my desktop, I have already created a project folder name called OTP Generator and Email Verification. Let me open this into a Visual Studio Code. So for that, I will drag this directory into a Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code will automatically loads all the files inside it. Inside the directory, I have already created index.html, style.css and script.js. In the index.html, I have already added a HTML boilerplate with the help of exclamation. And then I have added the title to OTP generator with email verification by Sharat Chandar K. I have linked other two files here. Inside the body, I am going to create the container. So for that, in Visual Studio Code, we have a embed abbreviation to create a div with class. So for that, I will type dot container. If I hit enter, it will automatically create a div tag with the class attribute with the value of container. Inside that, I am going to add the h2 element here with h2 and then value of OTP verification. And then next to this, I am going to add the break here and then next element of h4 and then I will add the text of enter your email address. And then again I will add a break here. I will add the paragraph tag with the help of P. Inside that I will add the text of you will receive an email with a one-time password. Now let us see our HTML file in action. So for that in Visual Studio Code we have a extension called Go Live. In the status bar, once we click this, it will automatically create our live server into the default browser. So here we can able to see the title and then h2 tag of OTP verification and then other text here. Below to this, we need to add the input box to get the user email ID. So for that, I will go to the index.html. I will add one more div of class value of form group. So with the help of embed abbreviation dot form group, if we hit enter, it will create a div with class. Inside that, I'm going to add the input box. Input type as email. If we hit enter, it will create an input element with type of email. I will remove this name and then ID of email address. I will add the placeholder here with email address. If I save, if I go to the browser, we can able to see the input box here without refresh. That is how the live server will work. Next to this, we need to add the button to send an OTP email. So for that, I will add the button with class of next button. If I hit enter, it will create a button element with the help of class attribute, and then here we'll add the next, and then I will add the arrow mark here. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the next with the arrow mark. So we need to style this. So for that, I need to go to the style.css. I have already added a import URL of font family poppins, and then I will add the asterisk. Asterisk means an wildcard. It will reset the margin to 0, padding to 0, and then font family as poppins. This is from the import URL, and then box sizing should be border box. So now I need to add the styles to the body with the element selector name called body, and then I will set the background color to blue color, and then I will set the min height to 100 VH. I will set the display to flags. This will help us to set the container into the center of the screen, and then align item center, and then justify content to be center. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the container center of the screen. Now we have added the styles to the body. Now we need to add the styles to the container. So previously we have used the element selector. Now we need to use the class selector with the help of dot and class value of container. I will set the background color to white, and then I will add the width of 400 px. I will set the border radius to 5 px, and then I will set the padding inner spacing should be 25 px, and then I will add the text align to center. If I save, now we can able to see the OTP verification box here, and then I will add the styles to the form group. I will go here, same form group. We need to use the dot with class selector of value of form group. I will add the margin to 20 px, and then 0. I will set the text align to start. Now I have added the outside class to the input box. I need to add the styles to this also, right? So for that, same with form group with input of child. For the child, I will set the height to 50 px, and then width of 100 percentage, font size 15 px, and then padding 15 px again, and then border radius 5 px, outline to be none, and then I will set the border to 1 px solid with light gray color. If I save, now we can able to see the input box here with width of 100 percentage. Now we need to add the styles to the button. So for that, we have a next button, or else we can add the button styles to directly to this with the help of element selector button. And then I will add the width of 100 percentage, and then I will set the height to 45 px, will set the cursor to pointer, and then font size to 16 px, and then background color to blue color, and then border radius to 30 px. I will reset the border to none, and then I will set the color of white. I will add the margin bottom to 20 px. If I save, now we can able to see the email box and then button also. So we need to add two more container to this. So again, I will jump to the index.html. I will copy this container. I will paste it for 2 times. If I save, now we can able to see the 3 container box. Here we need to change the content to this. So for that, I will mention this as step 1, step 2, and step 3. For that, I will add the class of step 1 for that first container, and then second container as step 2, and then third container as step 3. So based on this class, we need to enable and disable this container. Again, for the second container as OTP verification, instead of enter your email address, we can say enter one time password. And then instead of this text, I will inform the user a one-time password has been sent to this particular email address. For the email address, I'm going to add the span tag. Inside the span tag, we are going to append that particular email address. So for that, I will add the ID of verify email. If I save, Now we can able to see the OTP verification, enter one time password. Here it was break. So I will remove this break here, and here we can able to see this. And then instead of email, we need to get the OTPs, right? So we need to add the input box for this. For that, instead of form group, I will remove the form group. I will add the OTP form here with the help of div. I will hit and enter. Inside that, I will add one more paragraph tag says enter the 4-digit code we sent you via email to continue. If I save, now we can able to see this, and then next to this we'll add one more div of OTP group. If I hit enter, inside that we are going to add the input box for 4 times because we are going to set the 4-digit code, right? So for that we have a option to create a input box to 4 times. So input with number and asterisk of 4. If you hit enter, the embed abbreviation will create 4 input box here. How simple is this, right? So the ID and name is irrelevant. So I will remove this. Now if I save, now we can able to see the 4 input box here. And then here instead of next, we can set the text as verify. And then we'll add one more paragraph tag to inform the user not your email or did not receive the code. We'll add the href to try again. If I save, now we can able to see the not your email or did not receive the code, try again. Once we click this, it will navigate to this previous screen here and we'll get the password to this. And then for the third container, we'll change this OTP verification to congratulations. And then we'll add the paragraph tag here with welcome, and I will paste that celebrating icon here to home page. And then I will remove all other element from here. I will add the image source. Inside the image folder we'll have the image.png, and then below to this I will add one more h2 tag value of thank you. I will add one more paragraph tag here. Your OTP verification has been completed successfully. If I save, now we can able to see the image as well as the text. So we need to add the styles to this. So again I will jump to the style.css. The style.css, first I will add the styles to this OTP form with class value of OTP form. Because we have added the styles here for the first container, we need to add the second container here with display to block, and then margin to 20 px, right and left, and top and bottom to 0. And then I will add the styles to this text with the help of OTP form with child element of p. Will set the margin to 20 px, and I will set the color to green. If I save, now we can able to see the styles to this. And then the next element of OTP group will add the style to this with OTP group. So for the OTP group, I need to set all the text box into a single liner. So I will use this display flags. With the help of this, we'll get all the text box into a single liner. With the help of gap 30 px, and then justify content to be center, I will set the margin to 20 px. If I save, now we can able to see the text box into a single liner. So I will add that same with OTP group with the child of element selector input. If you add the styles to this, it will be applicable to all the inputs because we are adding the styles to this OTP group of child input. So for this, I will add the height of 50 px and then width of 50 px. I will add the padding inner spacing 5 px, and then font size to be 25 px, and then text align to be center. I will remove the outline to none, border to none, then border bottom to 2 px solid, and then again same light gray color. If I save, now we can able to see the text box here. So here we can able to see the scroll button, right? We need to disable this too. So how we can disable this? So we have a option of input with WebKit of inner spin button, and then again with the help of input WebKit of outer spin button. Because these are the two buttons, this is for inner and outer spin buttons, we need to disable with WebKit appearance to be none, and I will add the margin to 0. If I save, if I go here, if I over to this, we can't able to see the buttons to this input box. And then I will add the styles to this image of image because we have only one image here. So directly I will set the height of 150 px and then margin to 15 px. If I save, if I maximize the screen, we can able to see the OTP verification with email, OTP verification with one-time password, and then congratulations. So we need to do the functionality to enable and disable these containers, right? So for that, we need to jump to the script.js. With the JavaScript, we can achieve this. So here in the script.js, we are going to declare the declaration. So here with the help of const, I will add the declaration to the step 1 equal to document. Document represent your web page. If you want to access any element in an HTML page, you always start with accessing the document object. So I will use the same with document dot query selector, the selection of dot with step 1 because this is a class. So we need to use the dot. So I will add the same thing for step 2 and step 3. I will copy here and I will paste it for 2 times. I will show the what is this const is. So console.log of step 1. If I save, if I go here in the console, we can able to get that particular div based on the class. This is how the DOM tree will work. So same for step 2. If I save, so here we can able to see this with the over of that element. So we need to do the other declaration with this const. And then next thing I will add the declaration of this particular email. So we need to get this email address, right? So here in the script.js email address equal to document dot, here we don't have the class, so we need to use the id. So we have one more option called document dot get element by id, and then I will use the id value here. And then next thing I will add the declaration to this verify email because we are going to display that email address to the second form, right? With the help of same verify email id, and then we need to get all the input box to this, right? So we have a option to get all the inputs with document dot query selector all. So inside that OTP form and then inside the OTP group we have the all inputs. So I will add a console.log of this one inputs. If I save, if I go here, now we can able to get all the 4 node list. If I over, you can able to see the input box popped there. And then next thing we need to add this next button and verify button. So these both have same. So I will change this class value to verify. Now we have the 2 buttons. One is for next button. So I will copy this class again with next button equal to document dot query selector of class value of dot with that next button. And then we have that verify button. I will copy this with document dot query selector with the same of dot verify button. That's all for the declaration. Once we load this project, we need to display only this first form, right? So for that, we need to add the event listener to that window of onload. Window dot add event listener. As I said, we have a load option with that function of I will made a lot here with one. If I save, if I go here, if I refresh, now we can able to see the a lot of one. Whenever the page is reloading, we will get this a lot of that event listener. So here we need to disable other 2 containers with the help of class value. So for that I will add the step 2 and step 3 need to disable. Step 2 dot style dot display equal to none. So this will directly set the styles to the step 2 as none. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can't able to see that second container. The same thing I will copy and paste it for third container too. If I save, if I refresh, now only we can get that OTP verification of container 1. So we need to disable this button, right? So for that, we'll have that next button dot class list dot add of disable. And then same thing I will copy and I will paste it for verify button 2. If I save, now it will be not disabled. I will insert here. See, now the disabled class is added to this. We need to add the styles to this. Again, I will jump to the style.css here. In the style.css, we'll add the button.disable I will add the opacity to 0.6. So before that, we need to change the background color. So here already it was light color. So I will set to dark color of 0099FF. If I save, now this is disabled. So if opacity is set, if I remove, if I save, now we can able to see the button color is different. And I will set the disable of button here and then pointer event to none and then user select to none. If I save, if I go here, see now we can't able to get that cursor pointer and then click event of user pointer here. This is what the same thing for the step 2 also. So if I go here, I will set this display none. So we can't able to click this. So the next thing, once the email is valid, we need to remove this, right? So for that, I will create a return function with const validate email. With the parameter of email, we'll add the regex to validate the email. So we have a regex of this pattern to be set with yes. With that email address, this should present with at and then they should present with dot. These are the regex value here and then we can test this. So if regex dot test of email, if this is paused, we need to remove the next button dot class list dot remove of disable. Else we'll use the same. I will copy this and I will add the else here and I will add the disable button here. So here this valid email we need to call, right? Then only this should be fire. So for that again I will jump to the index.html. We are going to add the event of on key up and then valid email of return function here with will post the this dot value. This contain this entire element and this dot value. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I type test at gmail.com, so still it is not enabled because of this regex is wrong. If I save, if I go here, I will add the test here. I will remove the debug pointer here. Test at gmail.com. See if this is valid. Now the button is enabled automatically. Gmail.com. These are the email pattern we have followed to check the valid email or not. So once we click this, we need to send the email to this email ID, right? How we can do that? So for that, we have a email service of email.js. I will go to the browser, email.js. So this was the service provider. With the help of this, we need to send the mail. So we need to create the account first. So I have already having the account. You can sign up here with this. You can create an account and we need to add the service first. New service. Here there are a lot of service provider to send an email. So for now I will use the Gmail service provider to connect that account. So this Gmail provider will send a 500 emails per day. So with the help of this service, we need to connect to the account. So once we click this, it will ask us to connect to our account. We can connect to our account and we can click continue. Once we done this, it will create a service like this. So this is what the service and this is connected to this my Gmail account. With the help of this, we are going to send out a mail. So and then the second thing we need to create the email template. So these are the templates we will send to the email as a format. So the same as creating service, we have an option to create a template for this. So here you have a content, what are the subject we need to place and what are the content we need to pass and what is the from name and to replay to whom and then from name everything we need to describe here. Once we have described here, this is how the template will look like. This is what the template I have created. Dear Sarah Madam, you got a new message from this from name and here we are going to send an OTP, right? So please use this following OTP password to complete your login. Do not share this OTP with anyone. And this is the attachment for now added for the example and then best wishes with Sharat Chandar case team. This is what my email template. With the help of this, we are going to send out the email. So before that, we need to add the CDN to this email.js. So for that, I will jump to the index.html. In the index.html header, we need to add this CDN link of email.js to get that email object. If I save and again I need to go to script.js. In the script.js, we need to initialize that service. So with the help of email.js, once we add that CDN, then only this should be get. So we'll init and then we'll get that service provider. So I will go to the email service and I will copy this service name here. I will get the service ID, initialize it. If I save, if I go to that browser, in the console, if I add a email JS, we'll get that email format. These are the email prototype we have for that CDN. With the help of this, we need to send out a email. So once we click this, we need to do that, right? So again, I will go to the Visual Studio Code. Here, this is a next button, right? Once we click that next button, we need to do that. Next button dot add event listener of click. For the OTP generator and verification for the mobile, I have already added a video and I have linked that into the description. Please do check it out. And then I will add the function to this. I will add the a lot of one. If I save, if I go here, if I type that email address, now this is enabled. If I click, now we'll get the alert. If I say okay, if I remove, if I click, it will not fire. Inside this, we need to send that email. So again, I will jump to the Visual Studio Code. I will remove this alert and then I will add the email JS dot send, and then we need to add the two more parameters. Here we need to send the service ID as well as the template ID. So for that I will add two more const here with service ID and template ID. So and then above I will create that const of service ID equal to empty, and then again one more const of template ID equal to null. Again I will go to this email JS. We need to add the public key. Once we created a public key, we'll get this. So this public key only we need to initialize into this email.js. I will change here. This is as a public key to init, and then I will go to the email service. This is what the email service to be provider, and I will add this as email service, and we need to send this template. So I will copy this template ID here and I will paste it here. So here you need to create which template you need to send as an email. You need to copy that. So I will copy this, and here I need to send the template parameter. We'll add the then for this with the function of response and then comma function of error. We'll add the console.log here to check this of error and then response. If I save, I will add this as a global variable. And again, what is this template parameter? We need to create that, right? So I will create the template parameter of let template parameter. So here in the template, we have some particular values. So these are the values we need to pass. So for that, we have the four parameters of from name. I will set now empty, and then second one as OTP. I will set that to empty, and then message I will set that to empty, and then last one as a reply to. So here we can able to see this. I will copy that and I will set that to empty. So if I save, I will go to the browser. If I refresh, now I will add the email address test at mail.com. If I hit enter, we'll get the error. The recipient address is empty because this reply to is not to empty. So we have the email already. For this input box, add the declaration on above email address dot value. If I save, if I go to the browser, I will add the email address of mine sarachandark@gmail.com. If I hit next, now we'll get the status code of 200 and then text of OK. So if I go to my mailbox, now we can able to see the mail as received. These are the template, time password, OTP confirmation, this one, and then OTP is missed and then from name is missed because we have said that value was empty. So here in the email history, we can go here and we can check when to send and for which device and it was sent. So these are the wonderful email service provider to check all those things in a fingertip. So now what I will do, I will add the from name here of Sarachandar K Dev community, and then OTP will create, and then for the message I will type please find out the attached file. So this is for an example how the attached file will send with the message. If I save, if I go the browser again, I will add the same email address of mine. If I hit next, we'll get the status code of 200. I will go here. This was the previous mail. If I go and refresh, now we'll receive the email address with Sarachandar case dev community, and then please find the attached file. So the text was wrong. Please find out the attached file, and these are the text we have paused. Now the pending thing is we need to send the OTP to this. So again I can go in the email history, we can check this mail was correctly sent or not, and again here we can able to resend these things. So now we need to generate the OTP, right? So for that we'll create one more method for OTP with same return function of const generate OTP, and then inside that we'll return directly the OTP of math.floor of 1000 plus math.random of 9000. So what is this? So math.random will generate random numbers between 0 to 9000. So adding 1000 to this random number, the highest can only be 99 and 99. Our max length of 4 is always ensured and preserved. This is how the generated OTP will be generated. So I will add the console.log here to check all the time it was generated as 4 digit. If I save, if I go to the output, see now we'll get the OTP as 5131. If I refresh 5106, if I refresh, it will be get all the time 4. So instead of 1000, I will remove this. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I refresh, see sometimes we'll get digit of 3. This is not a valid, right? We need to pause that 4 digit. So only I have added this 1000 plus. So this will be sent all the times the value of 4. So this OTP will be paused there. If I remove this, we need to set this OTP to the parameter of this. If I save, if I go and add that email address again, if I send next, now we'll get the response of status 200. I will go to the mailbox. If I refresh, now we'll get the mail, and here we can able to see the OTP, and then all the text has fulfilled. So one time password confirmation, and then dear Sarah madam, you got a new message from Sarachandar case dev community. Please use the following one-time password, and then this is the OTP to complete your login. Do not share this OTP with anyone. And these are the small style added to check the attachment file. And again I will go here. If I refresh, we can able to see the how many mails we have sent, and then how many code is remaining per day. This is a very cool email provider to send an email. So for this generating OTP in that previous project, as I mentioned in the description, there we have generated differently. So if you are interested, please do check it out. I have added in the description. So once we click this, we need to change the container as well as the text, and we need to validate that, right? First, I will change the sending button to this. So with the help of next button dot init HTML equal to, will add that symbol here to generating value, and then I will add the text of sending, and then this should be resetted once the mail has sent. So I will go here inside this, I will use the same value. I will copy this, I will change this. If I save, if I go and add the email address, so if I click, now we can able to see that sending loading animation. So once we send, we need to send back to that another screen, right? So again I will jump to here, and then I will add the step 1 dot style dot display to none, and then I will copy this, I will paste it for 2 times, I will reset to 2 and 3 here. For the second one, instead of none, I can set these things to block. Third one as still none. If I save, if I go here, if I add that email address, if I hit next, it is sending and we'll get that OTP message. How cool is this, right? So once we enter this, we need to enable the button, right? So for that, again, I will jump to the script.js. In the script.js, we need to add the key up for this, for all the inputs. Input dot for each, because in this input we'll get the query selector all of input. So with the help of this for each, we'll add the add event listener to each of the input. add event listener of keep function of e. Inside the keep, we need to allow only the one characters, right? So for that, I will go here. The step 2, if I enable, we can able to type multiple values, right? So it could be not allowed. So we can able to restrict only one characters to each text box. So for that only, we have added this keep, and then I will get that this dot value dot length greater than equal to 1, then we need to remove that second value. So for that, e dot target dot value equal to e dot target dot value dot substring of 0 comma 1. So if I save, if I go here, if I enable this, if I type something of multiple values, it will be removed automatically. So we can allow only one character per input box. Once we entered all the values, it should be enabled, right? So for that, again, in the key up, we have the inputs array of 0. This contain this array of 1, and then this is array of 2, and this is array of 3. Array of 0 dot value not equal to null, and I will copy this for 3 times because totally we have 4 input box, 2, 3, and then 4. I will change the array value to here. This is 2 and this is 3, and then the same thing I will do it if this is present, and then the else, instead of next button, I will add the verify button here. If all the values not equal to null, will remove, and if any of the values is null, will add this. If I save, if I go to the browser, I will enable this. I will type 111, it will be take only one, and then I will tap to the next one, tap to the next one, and if I enter the last one, now we can able to see the verify is enabled. How simple is this, right? We can find the OTP and we need to enter here. And then once we click verify, we need to navigate to the next container, right? So I will add that verify button, add event listener with click of function again, and then inside that we need to check this verification, right? Or we can get all the values from this input. So we'll create one let of values equal to null, and then we'll get all the values here with the help of inputs dot for each, and then I will add input, and then I will add all the values plus equal to input dot value. So here for this, I will add the console.log here to check input value. If I save, I will go to the browser. I will enable for now. I will type 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I click on verify, now we can able to see all the console.log here inside the for each. So if I change the value, if I hit verify again, now we'll get 6577. So here it will automatically appended to this value, and then we can able to check with that generated OTP, right? Or we can check that. So here we have directly assigned this generated OTP to this. Instead of this, we need to set a global variable. So I will add OTP of global variable, and I will assign this OTP to generate OTP, and then I will pass this OTP here. With the help of this OTP, we can verify it here. If OTP double equal to values, we need to jump to the next container, right? So again, I will copy this and I will add else we need to show that validation shake error to this. So how we can do that? I will add the class list to this. Class list dot add. We can say this error shake. I will jump to the style.css. Will add the animation to this with the help of dot error shake. As I mentioned, we are going to add the animation of shake 0.2 second and is in and out for 0 second and 2. And what is this shake? The shake is an keyframe. So I will add the keyframe with the identity of shake. I will set the 0 percentage. I will add for 4, 0 to 25, and then 75, and then 100 percentage. For the 0 percentage, we'll set the margin left to 0 rem, and then for 25 percentage, margin left to 0.5 rem. For 75, we'll set the margin left to minus 0.5 rem, and then for 100 percentage, again margin left to 0 rem. If I save, because this should be 0 for margin left for 0 and 0.5 minus and then 0. I will check for now. If I hit next, it was sending email will send to this particular email address. If I type the wrong one, if I hit verify, only the first time is happened because the class is already added to this. So we need to remove this. So for that again I will jump to the script.js. We'll set the set timeout for 1000 millisecond and then we'll remove this class. If I save, if I go to the browser at mail.com, if I hit next, it was sending and I will type 1234 and if I hit verify, now it was shaking and again you can able to see the class is adding. After 1 second it was removed. So only we can able to see this frequently. How simple is this, right? So once we enter valid OTP, what will happen? So I will jump to the mailbox. I will get that correct OTP here 1267 126 and then 7. If I hit verify, still it is not valid. So here we have got one more 6189. So the OTP is 6189. If I hit verify now, still it is not valid. Why this OTP equal to values? So we can check. I'll go to the source. I will debug and I will check this. If I hit verify, the OTP is 8945, but we have not get that. So we'll go and check this email history. Okay, I will refresh at gmail.com. If I hit next, it was sending and here we'll get this. I will go to the inbox. If the OTP is received 1962, if I hit verify, nothing is happened because we have set this second as block. Instead of second, we need to change these things to third one, right? So I will set this none and then this one as block. If I save, if I go here, if I type the email address, if I hit next, I will go to the inbox. In the inbox, we'll get that 9091. If I hit verify, now we'll get that congratulations. So here we have missed that animation to this container. So I will jump to the style.css. I will add the keyframe of fade in show. For this one, I will add the 0% and 100%. From 0 to 100%, the fade in out should be show. I will set the opacity to 0 and then transform to scale of 0. For the 0%, the scale should be 0 and then if it is 100%, opacity should be 1 and then transform to scale of 1. I have added this keyframe. I need to define this, right? So I will define to this container animation of fade in show for 0.3 second. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I refresh, now we can able to get that animation effect on that container. So here for this, try again. Once we click this should be navigate to here, right? So for that in the script.js, we'll create a function. Function is a block of code to perform a particular task. With the help of function keyword, I will add the change my email and then I will use this steps and I will change this first one as block and then other two is none. We have created a function, we have not yet initialized it, right? So we need to initialize it. So I will jump to the index.html. In the try again, I will add directly with on click equal to that function name and then initialize. If I save, if I go here again with my email ID, if I hit next, it will be sending. If I try again, we'll get the first container again. So now once we refresh, we'll get that animation with that OTP verification. I will add that email address sarachandark@gmail.com. If I hit, we'll get that sending animation and we'll get that pop over animation. I will add some random text and then the verify button is enabled. If we click this, the OTP is wrong. So I will jump to the email box. I have sent the email here with the value of 6903. If I hit verify, now we'll get that congratulations message with your OTP verification has been completed successfully. Finally, we have completed this OTP generator with verification email using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Please like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel Sharat Chandar K to watch more like this one. If you are interested in JavaScript projects like this, I have already created and added a playlist link in the description. Please do check it out. Thank you so much for watching.